Welcome to the Behave Yourself show. As always, I'm your host, Pauline Herbert. This week's instalment, well, it's not the one I was planning to do. You see, I was planning to have this padlock, turn it into a love lock, and go to a local love lock gate where there's a profusion or a plethora of love locks, and add my contribution to the love lock gate in Betchment Park in Wantage. If you go to my Substack, I've posted an article about love locks and the ones in Betchment Park. But just to set the scene on that, for those who don't know, a love lock is a padlock. Perhaps a couple are in love. Doesn't have to be. Well, they decorate it, probably usually with hearts and their initial, as perhaps a demonstration of love. But it's a ritual, almost a binding ritual. Maybe it's magic, certainly magical, and the couple binds the padlock to somewhere significant, like a bridge, and then throw away the key, and that's kind of represents that their love will be locked together forevermore. Now, there is a story about that, but I'm going to tell you it once I've got my love locks sorted out. Now, I purchased it on eBay, and some of you say, "Oh, that's a mistake when you go to B&Q or so." Okay, and the reason I did this, I thought, I'll be a traditionalist and see if I can get an old-fashioned padlock which's got "Made in England" on it. And I chose this eBay seller, and they sent it. Had to be the cheapest type of. It was Royal Mail, second class. And the postage, there was only one postage option, but the postage was something like £2. And they supposedly, allegedly, or so they claim, posted this padlock on the 12th or maybe the 13th of September. And eBay have got some sort of tracking service on it. And it's, I don't know, lost in the ether. Haven't received it yet. And the eBay says, "Oh, well, Royal Mail have let you down." Maybe. I would like to indulge one moment and tell you a story. This week, I got an order for honey, 6 jars of honey. And the order came at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'll give you a name. It's probably not his full name, but it's Mo. So Mo at 2 o'clock in the morning ordered some honey. So we'll call that day 0. Okay. So when I woke up the next morning and thought, "Oh, I've got an order, brilliant." And I was able to package that order, take it to the post office. I purchased first class, Royal Mail first class postage with tracking. So day 0, Mo got it. Day 1, the following day at 10:30, Mo got his honey. So I'm always a little bit skeptical when online retailers blame the delivery service. Some of it's their own fault in terms of getting the bog standard version of the postal service. But this is not meant to be a rant thing. Now, one thing I did get in the post was a book. Now, I have referred to that book, but that was me kind of cheating. That was me going onto Amazon and taking extracts from this book and then quoting it. I think I mentioned it in the Devil's Quotes episode. But there's sort of kissing cousin activities to love locks. So for instance, yes, you could stick a love lock, and as more and more love locks get stuck on gates and bridges and whatever, obviously it's meaning for the people who've done the love lock, but also for people who pass by. It stops being just a bog standard bridge or a bog standard gate. It's the love lock gate. It's got meaning to it. It's no longer a space. It's a place. It's a place which is objectified. It's a thing. You know, I might say, have you seen the love lock gate? What someone's put there. Okay, so you're making spaces with meaning. Another phenomena which you may have seen is you pass by and some crazy people have crocheted over, say, a postbox, Royal Mail postbox, Royal Mail, coming back to that subject again, and they, I don't know what the theme of the day. It might have been the Olympics. It might be spring. It might be Halloween. But they've crocheted on this postbox a theme, and you kind of think, I didn't realise that was possible. You have, if it's a Halloween theme, you had someone who's probably crocheted mushrooms and pumpkins and witches' faces, and I mean this is a sort of knitwear graffiti. But so obviously some people have tried to rationalise or make it an academic subject or almost written about this phenomena, sort of almost created a taxonomy of this. And in the book I received, which I purchased today, came through the post. When did it come through the post? It must have been midweek. It's called Unlocking the Love Lock by Sherry Holbrook. Now, she mentions early on, certainly chapter 1, something called some folklorist called Lynn McNeil, a phenomena she's entitled Serial Collaborative Creations. And I'd just really like to set the scene because, ladies and gentlemen, because I have a guest today, a Zentangler we're going to talk to. Well, it's certainly someone I know very well. You may or may not know her, but I'm not going to tell you until a minute. I'm going to read this quote from Lynn McNeil. Okay. It should be Sherry Holbrook who's referring to Lynn McNeil. Correction. Right, here goes. In a similar vein, folklorist Lynn McNeil coins the term serial collaborative creations. These creations share 4 features, all of which can be applied to lovelock ensemblage. 1. People come into contact with objects through geographical movement. Either the objects are passed from person to person, type A, or the people pass the objects, type B. 2. People involved contribute to the object either by adding to its physical form or by continuing its journey through some sort of personal effort. 3. Multiple people interact with the object, but they do it one at a time or in small sequential groups. 4. Those who interact with the object individually or in small groups are aware of the other's involvement with the object's existence, though they may not interact with them directly. This awareness is expected and necessary. The object, by virtue of being a chain object, implies the presence of past and future participants. So, there you go, the whole theory of serial collaborative creations. And now, to my guest.
You're listening to the Beehive Yourself show, where true Zen is found within your tangles.
Right, this is a first for the Beehive Yourself show. This is my first ever guest. I know what some of you are saying, that you've had people speaking on your podcast before. Yes, the Ovington one and the Devil's Quoits, but they were just random passers-by. That was just accidental. No, this is more deliberate. So, my guest today is a Zentangler. This guest today also resides in my household. I give you my wife, Pauline Herbert. Welcome to the Beehive Yourself show.
Oh, thank you very much, Stephen. It's a
so,
pleasure.
What I was interested in was, as you know, I'm reading the book on Unlocking the Love Locks by Seri Holbrook, and one thing when I came across this taxonomy of what shall we call it? Serial collaborative creations, probably coined by Lynn McNeil. And I remember a conversation we had on Zentangling, whereby something very similar was happening with within the Zentangle community. Two things. In a nutshell, can you explain to the Behind Yourself show audience what exactly Zentangle is?
Zentangle, or the Zentangle method, is an easy to learn and relaxing and fun way to create beautiful images using structured patterns. There are about 180 official patterns from Zentangle Inc. You create the tangles using a combination of dots, lines, and simple S curves or C curves and orbs.
So just really for the benefit of the audience, now I've seen you use entanglers. I mean, you obviously you're doing it in the household, but there's an online community doing Zoom, and what this is artwork in miniature. What the format is sort of square,
3.5 inch square.
So it doesn't, to accumulate Zentangle artwork, if you're doing it, doesn't take up very much space at all, and also it tends to be, if I'm right in thinking, you do your art individually, but often it's done as part of a community.
We have something called travelling tiles, where some other tanglers share their work. They start off a tile by putting a string on the tile, which is just a pencil line to denote borders for each pattern to go in, and they will put their tangles in one part of the string and send it to another tangler to either finish off or put their string or put their tangles in, and then perhaps it'll go to someone else.
So, I mean, looking at what Lynn McNeil was saying, certainly the first point, people come into contact with objects through geographical movements, either the objects are being passed from person to person, type A, which is kind of what you're doing. So the small 3.5 by 3.5 inch square is, or I mean, the square is called a tile, by the way, could be started off by one Zentangler and then passed onto another, perhaps through the post or something, for them to just do another bit of the tangle. So it's almost an iterative process. And there was some sort of big collaborative thing recently. I think that was on a bigger tile.
It was on an opus tile, which is OPUS. It's a 10-inch square tile. The reason they're called tiles is that after each class, they can all be put together as one big artwork. That's the reason they're called tiles. Now, I'm part of the Tangle Club, which is run by Joanna Quincy, CZT. And
what's CZT? What does that stand for?
CZT is a certified Zentangle teacher. It's someone who has been trained via seminar to teach the Zentangle method to other tanglers or to other people that would like to become CZTs. I'm registered to become to do the training seminar in November this year. So I should become a CZT by the end of the year, which I'm really looking forward to.
So this is going to be for us an interesting logistical thing, because Pauline's chosen to go on the American training course, albeit via Zoom. So I think you're going to be you'll be starting the course late in the afternoon and finishing, is it before midnight or something?
Yeah, it starts at 2:00 in the afternoon,
okay,
and it should hopefully be finished by about 10 or 11 o'clock at night each day.
And how many days is that for?
It's for 3 days. So it's going to be a little bit different for those 3 days.
So I guess thereafter you'll be able to officially hold Zentangle classes.
I will be able to hold my own classes to teach other enthusiastic tanglers how to use the Zentangle method. And hopefully, you never know, to have some of those people go on to become CZTs, as there's no one in Oxfordshire or Berkshire at the moment who is accredited with the CZT title. So I will be the first one in Oxfordshire, and it's a big county. So regarding the Zentangle Club and the project they had, in 2022, Joanna and her other tanglers and the other CZTs that are within the club wondered whether it could be possible for them to make a bigger project out of the travelling tile aspect. So they decided to start a travelling opus project, which would be a 10-inch square tile that was partitioned into sections with what they call a string, which would just be a wavy line. So it would cut up the tile or section the tile into a lot of sections so that other tanglers or other CZTs could put their structured pattern in and pass it on to the next tangler. So over 18 months, a number of tanglers, it was 43 tanglers in total from around the globe, contributed to two opus tiles. They decided to do 2 opus tiles and send them both off. So they travelled over 36,000 miles within the UK, Europe, and all over the USA.
So, just coming back to Lynn McNeil, I mean, point 2, people involved contribute to the object, which they do, either by adding to its physical form, so each recipient would do a little bit more of the tangle, or by continuing its journey through some sort of personal effort. So they would get the tile, make a contribution to it by some means, and then post it on to someone else. How did they know who they were going to post it on to?
I'm not sure about that aspect because I joined just after the project was on its way around the globe. So I'm not sure about that, but a lot of the CZTs form friendships together, and they talk as a community together. The Zentangle community is really quite a strong community. It's a very caring community, a loving community. There's so many friendships, and it's a really nice community to be in. And I've never found a network of friends that's comparable.
I mean, it sounds like this sort of community has, a very close place in your heart, so to speak. The sort of bond, the camaraderie, the love you've found in this community, and I'm just wondering, sort of people not knowing what Zentangle is. This might be going over their heads, and I'm just wondering whether, first of all, do you need any artistic skill to start Zentangling, and how could someone, if they sort of, is there any way they could see examples of Zentangle work?
You definitely do not need to be artistic to start tangling, because the ethos, or one of the things that that Zentangle incorporated believes is that life is an art form, and that each individual person is an artist in themselves. So no artistic skills or anything is needed.
So, I mean, some of the theme I've been going on with, certainly with Lovelocks, is how individuals, through their creativity, can create something, put it perhaps on display like a Lovelock. They put a padlock on a gate or a bridge or something, and this in turn perhaps encourages other people to do likewise. And there have been sort of issues with bridge stability. Really, the craze. There's been these bridges where the craze for love locks have got so crazy that it was sort of making bridges lopsided. But it just demonstrates that perhaps people have creativity inside them, and in turn their creativity can start changing things, whether it's themselves or actually just turning perhaps mundane places around their communities into something more meaningful. Would you kind of agree with that kind of the thrust of where I'm going with this?
Actually, I didn't answer the other question.
Oh yeah, carry on.
Examples of Zentangle artwork is easily found by Googling Zentangle or any kind of tangle that you're looking for. It's quite easy to find on a lot of social media, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok. A lot of my friends who are CZTs have their own TikTok accounts where they actually go through the stages of doing some of the simple patterns, so that people that are interested in doing tangling or taking it up as a hobby can actually go step by step through the videos and can create their own tiles.
You're being very modest here. You do have an Instagram account where you actually post some of your work. How can people find that?
Yeah, I concentrate on Instagram. I have my Instagram account, which I've been running for about 3 years. I took up tangling about 3 years ago, or just over 3 years ago, and I'm known as scottyscapes.com. Not with the dot, but the spelt D-O-T. So that's scottyscapes.com. And all my Zentangle work from the very beginning, all my tangling work from the very beginning is on this account. I've experimented with a lot of different tiles, different sizes of tiles. I've also, one thing I really like doing is, or creating, is the Zentangle. Right? The Zentangle is usually a 4-inch circular tile. And I find that something a lot more sort of freeing than the usual square, probably because of the sharp edges. It's the circle and sort of curves are one of my favourites, rather than any sharp edges.
Okay, well, I think what I'll do is put some of the links, perhaps to your Instagram page and also your website in the show notes, so people can find you. But if people want to learn Zentangle today, where's the best place to do that?
On YouTube, there are a lot of, again, my fellow tanglers, CZTs on there that have their own YouTube channels. So if you just put in Zentangle, it will come up with a list of people of videos whether that show their work or how they do their work, or a lot of them, again, like TikTok, they've broken down some of the more simple patterns so that anybody that doesn't know Zentangle can easily follow them step by step. And coming up in a few weeks, well, actually in a week's time, is Inktober Tangles. The Inktober Tangles is the Zentangle form of Inktober, which was started by Jake Parker. It was basically, he wanted to make sure that he was drawing something each day with his pens, just to get into the habit of doing something every day. So it had been transferred over to Zentangle, and Inktober Tangles was born by lovely Stephanie Jennifer, again a CZT, who does the tangles. There's basically a tangle each day for the whole of October, and it's up to the tangler how they want to draw it, how they want to tangle it. You can just tangle it sort of as the step out, or the pattern breakdown would tell you, or you could just use your imagination to put your slant on it. You can use black and white, or you can use colour. It's completely up to you.
Would I be right in thinking that there are some benefits to Zentangling? The Zen part of the words is by no accident. I think it's also a meditative process as well as being a drawing process. Could you speak to the audience about that, and perhaps some of the benefits you've experienced by doing Zentangle?
Yep. The Zentangle method, although it has Zen in the title, the Zentangle method and Zentangle Incorporated don't teach Zen Buddhism or any religion. It's teaching how to create beautiful art with having gratitude and appreciation. People who draw with using the Zentangle method and can describe their experiences as others people describe states of mindfulness or flow. For me personally, art has always been a place where I can escape to. It's a place where nothing else matters. When I'm drawing or tangling or painting, the time just seems to fly by. And it's always been a very nice place to be, not to worry about anything, not to be fretting about sort of the future or thinking about things that have gone on in the past. Zentangle, the method, brings you just to the here and the now, just to your pen, what your pen's doing. You concentrate on what the pen's doing. And as Zentangle Inc. say, that anything is possible one stroke at a time, or one pen stroke at a time. So it's been absolutely wonderful for me. I mean, I didn't really realise, although I started Zentangle in 2021, when the chance of a place at a workshop run by Ardington School of Arts and Crafts, which is just maybe it was about a mile or so down the road from where I live. There was the introduction to Zentangle method. So I looked at the artwork which was advertised with it, and I thought that's what I have to do. It was so lovely. It's like, I want to do that. I have to do that. And from there, I've never looked back, really. But it took me about 2 years to realise what a profound effect it had on me. Because my epilepsy quietened down. It almost went to sleep. My life was a lot more positive. I used to be plagued by self-doubt a lot because my inner voice kept telling me I wasn't good enough. But the Zentangle method enables me to just be who I am, to draw what I am, and because it's based on gratitude and appreciation, my life has become a lot more positive, and I'm a lot more calmer, a lot more relaxed, and it certainly made a profound effect on my life. That is why I decided that I had to become a certified Zentangle teacher. Now, within the Zentangle method, if I can talk about that for a moment, there's just eight basic steps from start to the finish of the tile. The first one is always starting with gratitude and appreciation. It's about what can you be thankful for today. There's always something to be thankful for. Now, I used to struggle with this to start with, but as I progressed, I found it a lot easier. I mean, there was times when we didn't have hot water because we were changing boiler. It's like, that's what I'm going to be thankful for today. There's times where the plumbing wasn't going too well and we only had one downstairs loo instead of the operational 2 loos. So it's like, I'm thankful for having a flushing loo. I mean, even basic things like this, you realise that, you really should be thankful and grateful for. Now, the second stage is when you go to the tile and we start drawing. So within the square tile, we have a pencil. For equipment, we have a pencil, a pen, and a paper stump, or what's called a tortillon, to spread the graphite from the pencil. Now, with the pencil, we do 4 corner dots. After the 4 corner dots, we join them up with the pencil to make a border. Then once we've got the border, we have the elegance of the limit of this little space is where I'm going to draw. And then we draw a string with the pencil, which it can be just one simple line, or it could be a squiggle or a circle, whatever you feel like. And then we start to tangle. This is when we pick up the pen and we choose which pattern we're going to do today. We don't need to spend time thinking about what we're going to do. It's like, this is the tangle or the structured pattern we're going to draw today. Then we fill the whole tile with each structured pattern. I mean, it can perhaps it could just be filled with one tangle, which we call a monotangle, because there's only one tangle there. Then once we've done that, we shade with the graphite pencil, which gives the image or the tile a three-dimensional effect, which can be really wonderful to look at. It can be mind-bending sometimes. Then, once we've got everything shaded, everything the way we like, we put our chop on, or initial. We put our initials on the corner, on one of the corners of the tile, to show that it's ours. And on the back of the tile, we sign our artwork and usually list the tangles that we've put on the tile and who they were deconstructed by. Some tangles are created by other CZTs to be shared within the community of tanglers. And then once we've initialed and signed the back of the tile, we look at it again, we look at the tile again, and we appreciate what we've created. And that's the whole Zentangle method.
Do you think the methods creates or precipitates inner happiness?
Oh yes, certainly. Because a lot of people who say they can't draw, they're not artistic, they can't do it, they're just too scared. But a lot of people are surprised by the end result of the tile that they've created. They think, have I done that? Really? So it's wonderful. But one thing that used to scare me with the Zentangle method, etc., is that you only have the pencil, the pen, and the tortillon. There's no eraser within the Zentangle practice, as there's no eraser in life. So therefore, why have within the Zentangle drawing kit, the Zentangle tangling kit, why have an eraser for that when you can't have an eraser for what's happened in your life already? And it brings up some kind of sort of freedom, ironically. So it was challenging to start with, drawing with the pen, but there are no mistakes within Zentangle. That's another thing that they say. There's no mistakes, and it gives you more freedom. Although you think, I didn't mean to make that mark. What should I do? It basically creates an opportunity for you to do something else that you might not have thought you were going to do. And it can create a lot of surprises. So instead of seeing it as a negative thing, it's seen as a positive thing, where it's a challenge to come up with something else. It's an opportunity rather than something that's negative.
Okay. Well, just really one last question. You used to, or perhaps I haven't seen you do it recently, but you used to be a crocheter. And I just really want to, whether you have any thoughts about some of the crochets, sort of the knitwear graffiti we occasionally see on post boxes and the stuff like. I think art is almost the means of doing the impossible sometimes, because I see some things which are on post boxes which have been I assumed crocheted, sort of almost beyond belief what you can do with knitwear, and it does seem to be some sort of bigger phenomena going on. If it's not love locks, if it's not crocheting, I think there's this sort of pent up demand for people to be creative. I was just wondering whether you have any comments either on post boxes or perhaps any observations on people having a pent up need to be creative.
I think everybody sort of has creativity within them, and it's just sort of up to the individual to ignite this creativity, if you like, because everybody's got it instilled within them, I'm sure. But a lot of the CZTs, a lot of the other Zentangle people do crocheting and knitwear and everything as well. So a lot of them are sort of quite crafty. There's some that make their own books for tangling, and make their own paper to make their own books and things. And with doing the crochet, making it sort of public, I had heard of a term called yarn bombing, where there are some crocheters that actually sort of wrap their crochet around trees, and other weird places. But the most popular one, I think, at the moment is the topper for the post boxes that are around Britain. There's lots of Facebook groups and things where they share their photos of these post box toppers that have been crocheted and sort of half knitted and things. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's knitted." It's like, no, it's crochet. It's definitely crochet.
And the other local phenomena is Wantage rocks, where people get these very smooth stones and decorate them, and people can either take them home or keep them, or I don't know, either contribute to them or replace them elsewhere. I'm not too sure where that would come in Lynn McNeil's taxonomy. Probably one, people come into contact with objects through geographical movement, and then some people do or do not contribute with the Wantage rocks. And there's probably the listeners that you've probably had some experience of these round painted stones going around. So I think that's kind of the end of this session with Pauline Herbert. How can people follow you or get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me via email. I'm Pauline at behiveyourself, which is all one word, .co.uk. So that's Pauline at behiveyourself.co.uk. I'm also on Instagram as scottyscapes.com, and I'm on Facebook as Pauline Herbert.
Okay, well, thank you, Pauline, for that interview, and I will round up this podcast in a minute. So stay tuned. So thanks again.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you to Pauline for generously agreeing to be my first guest on the Behave Yourself show. Pauline's details are in the show notes. As always, you can contact me directly by email, podcast@behiveyourself.co.uk. You can follow and support my work by visiting behiveyourself.co.uk or visit my Substack. My handle is @behiveyourselfshow. The music is called Solitude by Entertainment for the Brain Dead and was created under a Creative Commons license. And this concludes this instalment of the Behive Yourself show. And until next time, stay well.